Hi, friends. I'm host Eric. I'm talking with famous people. Today, I provide you with some wisdom beyond the limited scope of me and my YouTube channel. And I'm going to bring you, via me, conveying to him, who conveys to me, who conveys to you, or maybe just directly to him to the microphones. I'm going to provide for you today wisdom of the guru. Who is the guru? It's Spacey. What's he the guru of? Love and relationships. Why? Because he contributed slightly to helping me and Kim. That's all it takes to become a guru. And I tell you, it's been a magical day. It's been a magical fucking day. In which I go, but can we agree on this at least? And she goes, yeah, fine. It's a miracle. It's a fucking miracle. Why? Well, it's all because of Spacey's love wisdom. And I want y'all who may have questions about love, sex, and relationships to ask them here so I can ask Spacey so he can answer them. For example, maybe you want to know, is it okay that I only want to stick it in her ear? That's a question I want to know. Let's pretend, Spacey, I'll be the first questioner. Spacey, pretend I'm a viewer and I've written in a question. I only want to stick it in her ear. Is that okay? What's the answer?
Well, have you asked her?
She said she doesn't mind it, but sometimes she wants it up her vag. Should I accommodate her, or is she asking too much?
I think you should accommodate her.
Oh, okay. See that wisdom?
Yeah.
You see that? That's Spacey's wisdom of the ages about love. I tell you something, Spacey. Currently, this title doesn't seem to be attracting a whole shit ton of viewers. I'm not sure why.
I'm not sure why you titled it that way.
Well, because, I mean, I anticipated there'd be a mad rush to the doors here.
Oh, I see. All right.
I guess I must have misjudged that one.
I'm not quite as famous as you are.
That's why I put my face as the thumbnail. We're losing them fast, too. You're boring the shit out of them, Spacey.
Damn.
You're boring the shit out of everybody. I'm really mad at you now. You've ruined my YouTube channel.
Why don't you just kill me, man? You already killed my heart.
Because then I get blood all over my chair, obviously. All right, so Spacey, your first question for Spacey, my philosophical thinker. He wants to know what he should do if he has no questions.
Well, does he have anything he wants to talk about?
Do you have anything you want to talk about? It doesn't have to be a question. You could simply present a subject that's of interest. For example, sedimentary rock would be. What can you tell us about sedimentary rock?
Sedimentary rock? Well, I know, it comes in layers.
Like love. That's a good point. Wow, that's some wisdom there, Spacey. You're really drawing the links here.
You know what, Eric? It just happens unbidden. I just can't stop it.
It's amazing. You really are a guru.
Wisdom just explodes out of me.
Look at that. As it is right now, Angantir is getting comfortable with his femininity, his body, his different parts. He's ready to start asking questions about them. What's that thing that hangs down between my legs?
You know what? The number one thing I want for everyone is for them all to be comfortable.
That's a noble wish there, Spacey. I know I feel like I'm in the care of a loving person because he's caring about whether I'm comfortable about how he's caring. That's important. So Rowan Morgan says, love schmug. What would the guru of love back here say to somebody who has a bit of cynicism in their heart, a bit of love schmug about them?
Well, I understand your frustration, my friend, but I wouldn't recommend that anybody adopts my current attitude.
Okay, so there's some good advice. He's providing you an attitude to not adopt. You can adapt it, but don't adopt it without adapting it first.
What a nice red egg looks.
Okay, here we go. Eggs. Now, if anybody wants to ask a question of the other love guru, Kimberly, she's here as well. Is the Joker from Batman a good partner in a relationship? In case we have a question. Is the Joker from Batman a good partner in his relationship?
Maybe if you're like an ISTJ or something.
He does seem quite attached to that lady who walks around with a hammer.
Yeah.
What's that lady's name?
I don't remember.
She's cute though, that lady.
You know, I think there's someone out there for everyone, you know, philosophical thinker, and like, I'm sure even the Joker could find love with someone.
He has found love. He's got that super hot chick
Yeah, see, there you go.
in Suicide Squad. Yeah.
He's got that super hot chick. So there you go. He's a
Spacey's
great partner
gonna
to
have
her.
a hot chick.
Right. And hopefully his hot chick won't be an insane murderous bitch like that one in that movie. Okay, yeah, Harley Quinn, right. Harley Quinn. Alpaca Bowl for me and Spacey and Santiago. Of course. I mean,
Santiago, yes.
Santiago is filling in for Juan Pablo in Juan Pablo's absence right now. Juan Pablo is back in Mexico visiting the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Harley Quinn. TJ Music says, "Hey Kim and other person being Spacey, who is the love guru, and he's giving advice to anybody who's got love questions. Kimberly's willing to chime in her advice too. I bet if you got a love question, if you're like, how do I get this thing out of my ass, then she'll probably have some advice. Maybe a little castor oil, a little elbow grease.
I'm an expert with bullshit.
Kim is awesome.
Kim is awesome. Yes, awkward INFP, you are correct. Kim, you are awesome.
Thank you, awkward INFP. You are awkward.
Kim, that's not very nice.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just.
Awkward INFP is not awkward.
I was just kidding. I don't know.
You know, she's the one who made that video that says, "I'm a gem."
Oh, that's so adorable.
And it wasn't spelled with a Y, and it wasn't spelled with a J.
Oh, that's the girl that did the video about how she just wanted to tell you that she doesn't know how often people tell you how much they appreciate you, but she wanted to say she appreciated you. Or was that a different
No, that's her.
Yeah, that was a pretty sweet video, Eric. He loved it. He watched it all night.
No, that's not true. I
No,
watched it, and then I
don't.
brought Kimmy out here to watch it with me.
Night long.
All night long.
We miss you too, TJ Music 24. Is Spacey your actual name? It says philosophical thinker.
Yeah, well, yes, it is.
Yes.
Spacey Samala.
Angantier says, "Love is a battlefield."
It sure is.
She dragging you. What does that mean? I mean, she's trolling me in some sort of thing. Harley Quinn also has blue hair and is open for business. Does Harley Quinn have blue hair?
Partially.
Oh.
I think it's like multicolored.
Love is a battlefield, says Angantier. Spacey, as our love expert, would you agree with that metaphor or disagree with it?
You know, I feel like it's more of a. It's a battlefield as much as like capitalism is a battlefield. It's more business than war.
Well, see, I would say that love is what happens afterwards on the battlefield once the battle's over.
The battlefield?
The battlefield. Well, I'm not speaking very well today because my love is clogging my mouth. My love for you, Kimberly. Oh, right. For you're doing. Okay. So, is love question. Is he more idealism than realism of partner? What's he? I don't understand what you're saying there.
Yeah, I don't understand either.
Host Eric.
No, but she would have capitalized the E as well.
Can you reword that?
Is NE more idealism than realism of partner? Well, it depends what you have it mixed with. If it's TI or FI. I think NEFI is probably a little more idealism. You might say I'm idealistic, but I think I'm realistic.
No.
Question for Kimberly: are you a sociopath? No, she's not a sociopath. She's She's feisty
Why
as hell.
is that what Eric has led you to kind of believe?
No, Kimmy. Remember, we listened to one of those lectures on the way home. I'm extremely fair the whole way through.
So what would have given somebody the idea?
Well, because that's the
that I'm a
thing.
sociopath?
Because they don't trust me to be objective. So, in other words, they're saying they either don't trust, they think I'm too objective, like everything bad I say is true, but nothing good I say is true. Or you're not objective enough in that regard. Or they think that, well, or they're on your side because they think it must be a he said, she said thing. Or they tell me, look, nobody's right or wrong here. We should just split
What
up.
would have given somebody on there who
He's
doesn't
probably
even know
MGTOW.
me?
He's probably MGTOW.
Oh,
You know, MGTOWs will do that because they hate women and they're looking for things to verify that.
right. Well, sorry for him.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it really has a lot of
Hi, Sheila.
involved in it. Hi, Sheila. Hi, Kimberly says Sheila. That's called makeup sec. Makeup's SEC, huh? Asuka. How's Red doing? Officer Red is doing fine. I just saw her a second ago. She's outside the garage here. She was arresting somebody for being, who was an ISTJ who claimed they were an INTJ.
I see that a lot. A lot of frequent offenses there.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, of course, I'm always having to go over there and say, no, you've hit him enough with your Billy Club, Red. Just because somebody's committed a crime in typology doesn't mean you get to beat them half to death every time. She's been described as pretty reactive. That's inconsistent with sociopaths. Yeah, she's definitely not a sociopath. She's very, I mean, the fact that she went and got like that possum from the gutter, right? It's not very sociopathic of her. There's this injured possum.
What is sociopathic?
Sociopathic is really selfish in a way that you don't consider the impacts of your actions upon others as long as they serve you.
Hell no.
She's definitely not. The thing about Kimmy is
I'm rough on Eric, but it's only because I think he's a bit of a spoiled brat.
right, and I'm rough on Kimmy because I believe she can do better than that. You know.
I'm rougher on Eric than I am anybody.
Right, and in a way, I'm more. It may seem like I'm rougher with Kimmy than anybody else, but really it means I'm more patient with Kimmy. Than still together. We've been diligent in staying together despite all the conflicts.
That is true.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
When can I?
Taylor officially get?
What you mean in verbally?
No, person.
It wasn't until he came home that he and Taylor started getting in all these fights.
Well, you know, Taylor identifies when one or both of us is in a certain kind of fussy mood and don't want any kind of fucking shit for anybody, and then run afoul of each other, and then whatever. Would a sociopath not have access to FE or FI? I mean, the key thing, Eric says, okay. Would a sociopath not have access to FE or FI? Yes, they would have access to FE and maybe even FI. But the thing is, and I've experienced it before, not only will they not answer you or deal with you dialectically or wrong or acknowledge anything, they'll run away, and they will not let you continue to push on that point, and they won't tough it out. They're not brave. They don't have any courage. They don't have any character. That's the thing about a sociopath, a narcissist, whatever you want to call it.
However, you really could even never go online and they haven't actually communicated with me and seen me on screen. By the way you describe me, you probably do describe a sociopath.
Absolutely do not. That's what I'm trying to tell you, and I've been trying to tell you, Kimmy. Despite the fact that it's me sort of venting about my side, whenever somebody says something like that,
Okay.
I am 100% defending you.
Well, it's all right because the big towers make me want to slit the tip of their penises anyway.
Here's the thing, Kimmy. The good news is
they're so. The fact that they are like they are just makes them seem that weaker.
Well, the problem with that general attitude of blaming women for the one's current level of sexual effectiveness in one's that it, but it's not no women inside it. Just get women in increasing bitterness.
You know what it's really gonna do?
What?
It's just only going to, when they don't have mothers, then it sounds like they have mommy issues. Doesn't sound like they should be in MGTOW.
Lashing out.
I find myself seeking FE. Well, I don't even know if I find myself seeking it, but I know that when it's given to me, then I respond to it, and then I want more.
Right. Him responding positively to just the general this environment, pretty merry environment. Kimberly and I may have some conflicts.
This is Mary.
Kimmy,
Is this Mary?
Kimmy, this is a perfect opposite. The problem is, most of the fights are started by Kimberly.
No.
Yeah, it is.
No. No.
Or Spacey.
Oh.
Shiny bright object off to the left. Eric just like randomly walks out. Introverts are
Kimmy's getting handy.
introverts are doing this. I told him to take over and get in the chair, and he's like, "No, I'm not getting in the chair." I said, "Get in the chair."
Okay, I just
Would have been. Give me.
I thought
I can't give him a heads up. Okay, so anyway, we're back and we're better than ever. Hopefully, people can see us now. Being unable to put yourself in another person's shoes is probably Nick, and his behavior was the like he displayed that everybody else was there to.
Well, this is the thing. When you would explain something about somebody else, you get this blank stare, and he'd laugh like it was.
Like, what a silly thing to ever consider,
Just to think it was ridiculous.
FI ranks he's ENFJ. I'm FI polar though, and it doesn't make, even though I'm FI polar, I definitely understand the value of other people's feelings. I respect the fact that people have. I have a full intellectual respect for feelings, even if I don't quite understand it at all. And I also have a visceral ownership of others' pain that makes it impossible for me to disregard other people's feelings. If I am causing other people pain and I'm aware of it and I'm doing something wrong, this is why it's very critical for me to know whether I'm causing them discomfort or pain, but I'm not doing anything wrong, well, then they're the problem. If I'm causing them discomfort or pain and I'm doing something wrong, then I'm the problem. And that's how it goes, It's not MGTOW related. I just know how common sociopaths are, and since Kimberly did not seem to be able to generally connect with Eric, it seems pretty obvious she is one. Well, that's the sort of bullshit that people throw around, pathologizing other people with totally inadequate warrant, right? She absolutely can connect with me. We connect all the time. We have a great relationship, but we also have hugely dramatic, volatile fights. And when we do, it's because I'm talking to her about something in which I'm critiquing her in some way.
You like that, Spacey?
And that critique.
Can you believe that that's.
I absolutely. But Kimmy, they say the same thing about me. They say you'll hear the same thing about me. And that's just part of being a YouTuber. You got
I'm not a YouTuber.
Kimmy, you are whether you want to be or not.
I'm not.
You definitely are.
I am not.
Okay, you're not. You are married to one.
To you.
Awkward INFP asks, what's Kim's favorite things about you, in her words?
I love how sweet he is. I love how, I used to say I love how confident he is, but his confidence scares me. I love that he is unconditional. I love that he, first and foremost, understands how important it is to take care of us. I love how generous he is to our pets. I love how generous he is to the people he loves. I love his beard. I love his I love how tall he is. I love his head. He's got a great dome.
Thanks, baby.
I
That-
don't always love his fake tears.
They're not fake.
I love that his feet are like ugly but clean. And I love his devotion to me. Is that enough?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's great, baby. You did a fantastic job. And like I was saying in an earlier live stream, shit fell into place. July 4th, we negotiated. We came up with a negotiation that worked, and it was made both of us win and neither of us lose. And now that she's experienced it, I'm here today to celebrate it. You know, I haven't all day. It's like, this is fantastic. We had a little fight this morning, but it resolved really quickly. Why? Because we negotiated it out.
But why? Because you started it.
I did start it, but why did it resolve this time instead of escalating?
Because you scared the shit out of me and woke me up out of my sleep, and I realized that you said last night that if I'm not going to resolve something, I'll hear about it, and that's basically what happens every morning. Is when you're upset about something, the whole entire neighborhood and household hears about it.
So you decided to prevent the problem.
Yeah.
By making me happy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's called teamwork.
Right.
And I will do the same thing for you.
I don't scream like that.
Kimmy, let's not immediately throw teamwork overboard, okay?
Well, I'm just being honest.
Okay, so am I. And the conclusion is, I did start the fight this morning. And what was the good news? This time, you chose to work with me. And it solved the problem. And that's great. We didn't have to worry about fighting anymore.
Right.
Okay, so that's it. That's all we need to say about it.
Mm-hmm.
Jeebus says he loves that he was able to not make a comment about Kimmy loving my head. I'm surprised, Jeebus. I'm impressed. Of course, that's not a true statement because that comment right there is such a comment. So, but nevertheless, well played, sir. Well played. Did I have the same level of conflicts with previous partners that were not your duel? No, I did not. I have never had the level of conflict that I've had with Kimberly. I mean, I've had with occasionally with other people here and there. Sustained? Fuck no. There's no way I would even have tolerated anything close to that level of conflict with anybody but Kimberly. Because she's my duel, and I could see how perfectly it works when we're not fighting. I can see how easy it would be if she'd work with me when we have a point in dispute. And how all in that we just make everything fair and just and good. So yeah. All right, Spacey.
I have a different reason for that.
What's that?
I think because you married your assistant, who was 10 years younger than you, had a lot to do with why she adapted to what it is that you expected from a partner.
No, she had a secure attention style too.
Oh.
But that's fine. It doesn't matter. The point is, you're more valuable to me than any or all of my previous partners combined. I've never been with my duel before. And the parts of it that are good are absolutely spectacular. We're a perfect couple. We're a perfect match in every single way, except we had this one issue, which is a communication issue. I continue to believe that we have resolved it, and it will play out as such. Now, that doesn't mean we won't ever backslide. You know, there may be some time when we fight when it doesn't go, but by and large, I expect it to be actually be a sea change, that things will change from now on, because that what I think Kimberly would agree on, and is not a critique at all, is just a reality that the reason things got so loud and volatile, is I didn't know or didn't have any kind of legitimate channel of diplomacy. And everybody in a relationship needs one.
I don't agree that is why, though, that we got in the fight.
Now, you did agree with that yesterday morning.
Oh, okay.
First thing. Or
Well,
no, it was this morning. It was this morning.
Well.
No, Kimmy, remember, I had you agree, and this was a key thing, that yes, negotiation worked yesterday.
Yes.
And that the reason we've been having problems is because I haven't had a legitimate channel of diplomacy heretofore.
Right, but that's not why things got heated this morning. Things got heated because Eric.
You're right, not this morning.
Me out.
Yes, I did. You're right. This morning was not because of that
We're going
thing.
to be accountable. That's what I want.
You're absolutely right, Kimmy.
To everybody.
Okay, so I did call her names this morning and cuss her out.
Horrible names.
I called her
fucking bitch.
I called you a stupid bitch and a fucking liar. Okay? I didn't call you a fucking bitch. I called you a stupid
You
bitch
should
and a fucking liar.
never, ever even cuss to women.
I agree. And my point is, it is absolutely correct. I shouldn't do that no matter what. I shouldn't do that no matter what. However, what we did agree on, and this is the critical component, is that when someone is not afforded any legitimate channel of discourse, Cammy,
okay, you're right.
If I afforded you no legitimate channel of discourse, you'd act out too.
Yeah, but that's a bad one.
Okay, well, and I am absolutely determined to stop doing that. But what is the one requirement I need for you to be able to promise you I'm not going to do that? I need you to promise me what?
To negotiate.
Right. And so as long as we can do that, we won't have any problems.
Right.
Okay, cool. So you see, this is what's called success. It's slow at first. It's not instant. We're going to both fully embrace it immediately. Obviously, she's doing more work than I am right now, and I appreciate that a great deal from her. And she deserves all the credit in the world for doing something that a lot of people said she couldn't do.
Yeah, it still makes me cringe, but I'm trying.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate it. Spacey, we need to know who your celebrity crushes are. Awkward INFP is feeling with her FI that you're being left out.
Well, I actually cannot think of any celebrity crushes that I have off the top of my head.
How about William Shatner?
I think William Shatner is a very cool guy. I like him a lot.
Another question for Spacey. Spacey, is your father a biophysicist / neurophysicist?
My father is a nuclear engineer by education, but he currently works in a certain capacity where he's basically a kind of an attorney. He does a lot of reading and writing contracts and negotiating deals and
law research.
Such thing. Well, no, they sell service contracts for wind turbines.
Oh, wind turbines.
Well, I want to respond to this thing here. I realize if I'm with an emotional partner, we need to have a couple of bigger arguments, even if I don't buy the premise, to prevent small irritation building. I'm not sure if that's the case with us, but I would say that, what's happened is, in the absence of a legitimate channel of diplomacy with Kimberly, I have the liquid of my ontology has absorbed or dissolved within it a great deal of Kimberly's salt. And at this point, I'm super saturated. So if I'm asked to even absorb one more little particle of salt, then the whole thing, all it goes poof, and all the salt pours out of the water, So what I need is a relief valve from that. And the relief valve is feeling as though when salt is put into the water, the process of the liver of the relationship, namely communication resolves problems, is functioning properly. If the liver is not functioning, it doesn't matter how perfect the rest of the being is, it's going to die. And communication is the liver of the relationship. It processes out the toxins by allowing things to be talked out, and both people feel satisfied by the conversation and the resolution thereof. In other words, it involves a power exchange. It involves each person making some sort of sacrifice, as was just demonstrated there. I agree that it was wrong of me to yell at her like that. She agrees that, in fact, the problem is she's not giving me any other way to get through to her, or any legitimate way to get through to her, so I'm naturally going to fucking scream my head off. If she gives me any legitimate way to talk to her, where I get to be heard instead of dismissed or ridiculed, then we won't have this problem ever. And, of course, the reality is she's not spending any time acknowledging the fact that her ridicule and dismissal is more or as hurtful as any name-calling I do. But she knows she's able to do this process, which she just did, and is willing to do the process, and values me more than she does her stubbornness. So now that she's revealed that to me, and she'll see over time with SI, it's going to continue to work time and time again. We're not going to escalate. I'm going to stay calm because I trust her to not be insane. If she's not anything I say, opposing everything I'm saying, being an enemy, then I just think she's either insane or hates me. What does Spacey's relationship past consist of, if he feels like sharing?
I've had like 2 actual relationships with women who were extremely mentally ill and much older than me.
That's what makes him an expert. If he can go out with old mentally ill ladies, then he can solve your problem. Have you had any experiences with unhealthy ESFJs?
Maybe. I've had experiences with unhealthy ISFJs.
What attracted you to the crazy old ladies? Says awkward INFP.
Well, one, I was in like a really dark place at the time, so I wanted someone who was crazy like me, who I could relate to. And I also, I wanted
of course, Spacey is one of the people who, and there's a fair number of these people in the world. They're not really old now. It's like 5 to 10 years older than him. Maybe the other one was older. I don't know. But the point is, I was just basically joking around there. So what was I about to read? Oh, what I would say is, I don't know what I was going to say. Spacey has a lot of things going for him in the chick getting department, but being an INTP necessarily means he's not going to find any satisfaction in going out and slaying the puss at all. So even though he could go out and slay the puss, because unlike 99% of INTPs, he seems to have gone through some sort of exercise regimen or something. He's got like muscles, he's all cut looking, who knows why? It's totally incongruous with his.
Yeah, it really
is. Every other part of his being, it's like, why is this guy all cut and buff and shit? Yeah, Spacey's an INTP, and but in no other way does he act like his muscly self. So in that sense, he's very handsome. We've got pictures of him and stuff. Kimmy and I want to put together let's do, be like, no, let me do this little part here. And then he'll do like a little bit of it and he'll be like, okay, you guys take back over. I'm tired. No, he's SE polar. He's not the kind of person to pull the trigger on opportunities because he's SE polar. So, he's not generally the type to say, bro, I'm bored. Let's go hit the titty bar. All right. What's your perspective on ESFPs, Spacey? I know he's dated one.
They could be fun.
I bet they can be fun.
They can also be batshit crazy, with pretty alarming frequency. I don't know. Like my elder sister is one. I like hanging out with them. I just don't like having to deal with their, emotions long term. Basically, they're fun to party with.
So, does she block your statements because she's sensitive to critique, or she thinks she already knows what you think, or because she thinks she knows better? She blocks my critiques because every time in the past somebody's critiqued her, without true and heart. When I am critiquing her, I am not even looking to critique her. I don't want to internalize those critiques at all. What I'm really looking for is to check to make sure, since she's done something that's pissed me off or made me mad or whatever, when I offer some sort of critique or bring up the subject, I do so to check to make sure that's what I need from her. But she thinks, she doesn't think that critique is ever used in any way except somebody. Never released it before the 4th of July, I think. Even now, when she hears my very good and true and just words on live streams, she seems to pick apart the bits that seem slightly critical of her and ignore everything else and not really be fair about my. I know it's just me live streaming, and it's true. I do talk some shit about you and people too. The key thing is, I make every effort in the world to be fair to you, and she doesn't necessarily do that at all with me when she's talking shit about me. So I don't know. The point is, I'm very hopeful that period. Hi, Leanna Litzenberger. You just came on, huh? Well, all right. You just came on what? You're disgusting. You shouldn't do that. If you're going to do that, don't eat it afterwards.
Well, I mean, there's technically nothing wrong with doing that.
Except that it's gross.
Maybe that's your opinion.
Well, Ingrid Jorgenberg, maybe she needs to understand that on a deeper level than you just telling her. You need to show her in a way. I think she needs to experience it herself. So on the 4th of July, we did negotiate. It did work out. She experienced it working out. She experienced me not freaking out. She experienced the result itself. Speaking kindly to each other is very important. And yes, I really need to resist the urge to name call. The thing is, though, Sheila, you need to remember, I'm engaged in a steady pattern of positive affirmation of her throughout the day, most of which receives responses like, or shut up, or, like she's not very responsive to it, receptive to it. And I would also like to know why Kimberly perceives Eric's tears as fakes, Tom Jickelson. I think I know the answer to it, which is she's not engaged with a loving partner, genuinely vulnerable, not out of a place of powerlessness, right? So I'm being vulnerable to her out of a place of power. The power basically being simply that I'm not going to give up core elements myself, and I'm not going to give up on her either. And, I'm not going to be forced, and I'm not going to whatever, and blah, blah, blah. Genuine vulnerability from a place of power is real love, but she's never encountered it before. And so she assumes it's fake. She assumes I'm trying to trick her or trap her or get what I want. She doesn't assume I'm actually expressing emotionality at the fact that I want what's good for both of us, and I want what's good and just and true in general, and it breaks my heart that there's so much pushback or whatever. That's a genuine expression of she's going to perceive it as manipulative because she's not experienced before this relationship, and she's experienced a lot of other shit before that's not the same thing. To what degree do you think type plays in the success or failure of a relationship? If it plays a large part, are there types that shouldn't date at all? There's absolutely shit tons of types that shouldn't date at all. Would it play a large part? Yes. Kimberly and I would have been broken up after 3 months if she weren't an ISFJ. Zero chance. Oh, you just came on my live show. Well, can you get me a paper towel, please? I'd like to wipe it up. I would like to know why Kimberly. I read that one. Speaking kindly to each other is very important. Sup, sexies. Sup, Matthew. I read your bullshit comment about us needing a professional therapist, by the way. I didn't like it. Because you know what? You're wrong. We don't need one. Everyone just needed to listen to me the whole time. Just like I said the whole time. Does Spacey view my tears as fake? Do you view my tears as fake?
It seems like most of the time they're not fake. I think sometimes they are, but almost always they're real in a certain sense. It's just that when you follow the chain of causation or try to, what really causes tears, it's curious.
I mean, I would say that there's a certain awareness maybe of how they'll play, and that probably is why people think they might be fake or something. But just being aware of how they play doesn't mean they're fake. The thing is, I try to walk a very narrow path so that I don't have to ever justify any bullshit, right? If I have to justify bullshit, then shit gets fake. If I'm never justifying bullshit, then my frustration is legitimate. If I'm crying because I'm frustrated, and plenty of times that happens, yeah, Officer Red's here. Here, let me turn the camera.
No.
Why not?
Because Spacey and I don't want to be seen.
Well, you don't have to put Spacey on. Let me just get a little camera of the chickens.
I mean, I don't care if I'm seen.
See, he's sensible.
And Kimberly doesn't. She wants to look all nice and pretty if she's going to be on camera.
Kimberly believes she needs to be made up for the Princess Ball before she goes on the internet. There she is. Looking pretty good today, huh?
No.
You're looking pretty fly for a white guy, Kimberly.
Okay, here.
All right, so there's the chickens. I want to hold her. Thank you.
All right, say good night.
Good night. It's only 6 o'clock.
The chickens.
Are they going to bed?
Well, I'm going to put them here.
Okay, cool.
See if they go to bed.
All right, cool.
All right, that's cool.
So, anyway, is Kim. She has to look good to show her face. Well, you see, I feel the same way too, except I know that I always look good. It really doesn't matter what I'm wearing. I certainly don't need any makeup. I'm naturally this handsome. This is God's own makeup on me. This is me and my natural beauty. Sheila W. concurs with Zandy and Kimberly. Sheila's saying, I rarely leave the house without my war paint. Also,
that's the thing. I never wear war paint. However, that's because I never leave the house.
You do too.
Barely.
I don't keep you locked in the basement.
Well, but you sure don't encourage me to pretty up.
I mean, I'm trying to save you time.
It's not your job.
I'm not discouraging
you. Want to save
you.
me time? Why don't you start getting me some liposuction and some facelifts and some lip injections and some what's the thing? Cool sculpting and a trainer. And
because you don't need any of those things. You're beautiful just the way you are. Also, the fake tears thing, I've heard a lot. Even when I'm at my lowest, I think it's because I send out thoughts instead of reflecting feelings. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why people. I hear that periodically too. I'm crocodile tears. They're not absolutely my authentic feelings, but because my feelings don't run deep, I think people think it that you real they don't matter.
I've seen real tears from you, and I've seen crocodile. I've only seen real tears a couple of times.
I mean, I think that just means you've only been open to my authenticity a couple of times.
No, it means it's the only time I ever really believed you.
I know. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Your distrust overwhelms the reality, which is I am always being authentic with you.
Maybe, but like it's just the way you do it.
Okay, well, Kimmy, listen. That's the thing about being teammates is we give each other we give each other the benefit of the doubt.
I'm sorry, it's very authentic.
No, Kimmy. However you perceived it in the past is fine.
Sobby and real.
After you may have perceived it incorrectly in the past, and sometimes in the past, but that's fine. We're on the same team, so we're going to just support each other.
You're right.
No, Tom Jiggleson. Tom Jiggleson has fucking got a pickle up his penis hole. I wonder if Kimberly has ever stolen from other people before. No, she doesn't steal from people. Why would you think that? Have I ever said anything to suggest that Kimberly's a kleptomaniac or something? Sheila says she's only seen her husband cry 3 times in 25 years. Well, you're obviously not working hard at pissing him off. Because, what really makes me cry is when Kimberly is just not cooperating with me at all for extended periods of time. I just cry because it's like, how much more of this can I take? But the thing is, yeah, she did steal my heart. Kimberly stole my heart. And what did she do with it? She sold it on the black market. Spacey, would you buy a girl a cat?
Yes, he would.
Yeah, if I had the money and she really wanted one, and there was a place for it to stay and be taken care of properly.
No, not like that, Spacey. Like this, at the end of the first date, she leans over to give you a hug. Good night, Spacey. It was really fun. I hope you call me again. You say, yeah, it was great. I really enjoyed our time together. Oh, one last thing. I bought you a cat, and then hand it to her and walk away.
No, I'm sorry. I won't be doing that.
Chicks love that.
But she wouldn't be my girl at that point, though. So I think you're...
I know. Well, because if you want to make her a girl, what's the best thing to do? Give her
a kitten.
Give her a cat after the first date. Then she's going to have to call you to try to get rid of the cat. I have 3 kittens coming out of my ears right now. Coming to Minnesota. Kimberly, guess which state we're not going to? Minnesota. No more kittens. We got 2 more kittens in the house than we used to. There's one over there. Alfie is cute. And she purrs very loudly. She's very friendly. She speaks German.
I love this cat.
As well as English and Chinese. Multilingual cat. So, any other questions for Love Guru Spacey on this Love Guru Spacey Answers Love Questions video hour?
Angantyr needs a kitten.
Angantyr needs a kitten. So, Angantyr says that chicks always see him as a therapist. What can he do to fix that?
Stop being their therapist.
Stop listening.
Yeah, stop listening.
Include sex as part of their therapy. That's what I would suggest.
The thing is, if they were into including sex as part of the therapy, you wouldn't really quite so much be their therapist at that point. You would be having sex with them and talking less.
I mean, not if it were me.
Wait, what?
If anything, there's a massive amount of discourse involved in sex. That's one of the more talk-intensive things there is in life. Spacey, have you ever been talking out loud while trying to figure something and someone walks in and wonders what in the world you're doing?
Oh, absolutely.
So is that a sign that you're not normal and there's something wrong with you?
No. It means you're smarter than other people.
Oh, congratulations. Danny points out, good suggestion. Carry a kitten around and you'll pick up, she says ISTJ chicks. That's possible, but also ISFJ chicks. Around with one of these kittens.
I don't want ISTJ chicks within like 100 feet of me.
Okay, so I guess you know why that is? Because Spacey is seeking what? FE. And ISTJ chicks have no FE.
Yeah, but even INTJ chicks are fine.
INTJ chicks are okay, just not ISTJ?
Yeah.
You don't want an INTJ chick. You need
maybe
FE
not, but
provision.
they're much more tolerable to me. I haven't tried to date one, admittedly, but
Angantyr says that people unload their life story on him. Hi, I'm Angantyr. Oh, Angantyr, my boyfriend Tom and I, we're fighting right now.
Wow,
And
what sort of an industry is he in?
I don't know. Lyanne Litzenberger has an INTJ husband. How's the polar FE treating you? Is he frequently embarrassing you? Do you find it awkward? Do you wish that he would just finally understand for once how important it is, how people perceive us?
Honestly, Eric, in my group of friends back in the day, like I used to embarrass us way more than the INTJ did because I just wanted to have fun. He was actually way more composed and reserved and trying not to do anything too weird in public.
Right.
Right.
So, in other words, you're naturally ungraceful, but have the capacity to be graceful as well.
Exactly.
Whereas INTJs are naturally ungraceful, but have the capacity to be silent. Well, no, that's not going to do, right? Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late to the party, says Zaylin Black. We were wondering where you were. Said, drinks served at 6. It's now almost 6:30. We RSVP for a reason around here. Let's find Spacey and ESFJ. That's exactly what we're doing.
That's what we're
finding
trying to do.
That's
Why
part
do
of
you
why
think
we're
he
live
was at
streaming right now.
TWFP summer camp?
You see, he is currently answering your love questions. Might not seem like it, but that's what's happening. And in the process, he's conveying to everybody, hey, I'm Spacey. I'm single. I like ESFJ chicks. Give me a call. Give me a call. You can call me via Eric. You got Eric's number there. Just say, hey, ESFJ, I want to go out with Spacey.
This kitten looks like she's...
Look how muscular he is.
And how in love.
Oh, look at those muscles. That's pretty good, huh? Chicks love muscles. And a muscly guy with
So do kittens. Look at that.
muscly guy with a kitten. How sexy is that? How sexy is that? Who doesn't want to just eat him up right now? Who? Huh? Angantyr, don't you just want to eat him up right now? Oh my gosh. He is loving that kitten. That means he's both masculine and sensitive. Just what we want as women. We women want a man who's masculine, but also sensitive. Who knows how to sweep us off our feet and just ravage us, but also knows how to be tender, loving.
And take long walks on the beach.
Well, guys, that's Spacey.
Not. Eric.
It's not me. No. No, that's Spacey. He's right there. He's got both manly prowess and walks on beach in his repertoire. Okay. What would happen if two INTPs dated? Absolutely nothing. You don't want an ENFJ Ron Solo. That's nuts. ENFJs are soulless.
So funny.
Just kidding, ENFJs.
I find Eric hilarious.
Thanks, Kimmy. That's one of the many, many myriad things I love about you. I love Kimberly laughing at my jokes. It gives me great satisfaction.
So far, I'm the only one.
I mean, Tom Jacobson, I think she's begun the process long ago, and she's well on the path to it.
What?
To completely trust me? Well, I don't think really anybody ever completely trusts anybody else. 1,000,000%, although close, you know. But how long will it take for Kimberly to completely trust me or finally trust me? We're almost there. I mean, it's like she trusts me a lot more than she used to, I would say. Despite the fact that we've created our own wreckage in the course of the relationship, we're both willing and interested and able to look past that and you know, and assume goodwill on the other part of the other person. After all, Kimberly invited me here to come live in her home shortly after we had met. Despite the fact that this was not in her wheelhouse, I wanted shit to move, you know? She made some sacrifices in that capacity. She was brave. And I've been here the whole time being true to my word that I'm not going anywhere and we're going to fucking figure this shit out. And so we've got a lot of reason to trust each other. You know? Also, that time that she stabbed to death who was school. That really brought us closer. Okay, what do ESFJs and ISFJs look for in a partner? Well, ESFJs look for INTPs in a partner, and ISFJs look for ENTPs in a partner. Kimberly has indicated to me before that when she was a little kid, she imagined herself being with somebody who was basically like a caricature of an ENTP, somebody who's extroverted and full of like showmanship or something. That's not a personality type that most people want to be with, really. But that's duality for you, you know. And I want to be with my mom. I want my woman to be my mom too. And a lot of guys don't necessarily want that. We don't want the girl telling us what to wear and when to eat and when to go to the bathroom and stuff like that.
Spacey does.
Well, I know NTPs do. That's why we're called the infantile types. In sociotics romance styles, ENTPs and INTPs are infantile. ISFJs and ESFJs.
Oh, is that why when we go to the grocery store, you both want to drive in the
Riding the cart
with the car?
Yeah.
I didn't figure that out.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
The problem is, you guys, I was telling you, I can't fit the diaper bag and all the shopping bags in there. You're just going to have to walk.
That's why Spacey has to push the car from now on.
Fine.
But Eric, you on me dragging your feet.
Otherwise, I get bored.
Steer.
Otherwise, I get bored. Okay, let's see. Stifler's mom is in the house. Who's Stifler's mom?
That's horrible.
Oh, is that
Yeah,
reference?
that was kind of a nasty comment.
Well, you know, Kimberly and I actually had a conversation about when that comes up. when those kind of we had this conversation in the car, Kimberly, about those that sort of comments, right? And so
However, Stifler's
as-
mom is the original.
as always,
So that
I am multiple steps ahead of the game. Now, I'm not so far ahead that I've got a snappy retort at the moment,
Stifler's mom,
but
friend.
it makes me super happy because why?
Because she had big boobs.
No, because I talked to you about this in the car before it happened. So who was steps ahead of the game again?
You.
Correct. I hate anyone ever being any steps ahead of me. That I can't do. I can't tolerate that. So the thing is, yeah, INTPs and ENTPs are both infantile style, and ESFJs and ISFJs are both nurturing style. All the ESFJs I've ever met were white picket fence types. My lifestyle has never seemed to mesh with SJ in general. This is the thing. NTPs don't realize they want that. NTPs think, oh, well, I'm much too intellectual. That stuff's dumb. Who cares about their white picket fence bullshit? Yeah. And that's fine. But
Walk through those gates.
but once you're with one or spend some time with it, the ENTP or INTP starts to realize it feels like home. It feels like comfort. It feels like you're being taken care of. It feels like you're not untethered and you're not just cut loose into the ether. And it's incredibly gratifying, to be grounded and to feel at home and feel like you've got a place. And that's what happens when an NTP gets with their dual. Where did I live before I met Kim? For 20 years, I lived in Temple City before I met Kimberly. I had the same house for 20 years. Raised my child from birth all the way till when she moved out in that house. And then, as the neighbor's dog, it's like I can't do anything with this shit. It's annoying, I know. And then, just within a couple months of meeting Kimberly, I was moved out there and into here. I know you don't care about that shit at all. Lol, the white picket fence. Except if you were being babied by someone who did care about it a lot, you'd start to appreciate it. The thing about NTPs is they need to experience things in order to know. We're SI users. Yeah, that dog's really annoying.
I hope she I hope the dog doesn't see our kitten or something.
Why don't you go lean over the fence and tell the dog to be quiet? Or I could go do it, I guess. So ENTPs have mommy issues. Does this include female ENTPs? I suspect they have daddy issues. I mean, I don't know. I think all ENTPs have, like, they don't quite get normal intimacy, So they go, well, my feelings are confusing me, so let's put on these costumes. So as an INTP, I'm supposed to look after a nurturer? No, you're supposed to let a nurturer look after you. You're not supposed to be doing the work, they are. That's the whole point of it. I don't know if it's because I'm SE polar, but I didn't notice the dog barking until you said it. Possibly, or SE ignoring. It could be if you're an SI dom, but if you're an SE polar, that would be a contributing factor probably to that. I just need a SFJ who's on board with my dream of living in a tiny house that's also a helicopter. That may be difficult to find that one. My INTP boyfriend always subtly waits for me to get dressed and then wears something in accordance. May just be a man thing, though. Huh. Would you do that, Spacey? Today I'm really wearing my yellow sundress with my green hat. Would you then put on something that had a little bit of yellow and green to match?
I don't think so.
She told you to?
He's not conscious. Well, she told me to, sure.
Okay, there you go.
So if your woman wanted to dress you a certain way, would you care?
Absolutely not. I hate having to dress myself.
Yeah, me too. That's something infantiles have in common, right? Yeah. I don't care what I wear. Kim will dress me better than I'll dress myself. The only exception is sometimes I want to wear my talking to famous people stuff. Well, then I want to wear that. But that's the only thing I really care about wearing or not wearing, What makes duels so great? Well, the bottom line is, somebody said it in the other live stream, duels soften out each other's sharp edges. I'm less the way I have always been now than I ever have been before. And I bet Kimberly's less the way she's always been before now than she's ever been before, too.
I'm much sloppier.
You're much nicer. You are. At the beginning of our relationship, you were really mean to me.
I thought I was really mean to you now.
No, now we're just struggling through the last little hurdle, and I think we did. At the beginning of the relationship, you tell horrible stories about me to me all the time. Like, this is why you are such a worthless and lazy sack of shit. And you begin telling this long story, just full of negative details about me.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You did. That was a long time ago, though, Kim. You haven't done it in a long time because we both have been getting improved by this relationship. Meanwhile, I'm still insistent, sort of, in my way of talking, but it's much more absolutely genuine than it used to be. It's not like there's not any kind of trick lingering here. I'm just genuinely going, talk to me, I knew an ENFP who felt like she wanted me to be her daddy. Well, then you should have gone ahead and been her daddy.
I love that.
And the thing about being an ENFP or any kind of NFP daddy is you have to watch out. because sometimes they will put mayonnaise on your sandwich. And if they do that, they need to be punished. And I would suggest a paddle or something like that because other they don't listen. ISFJs can be so mean. They can be so mean. But that's why they're duels ENTP. I've got polar F5. By and large, it rolls off my back. Now, what doesn't roll off my back is that.
Anything that comes out of my mouth.
No, Kimmy, everything rolls off my back. What doesn't roll off my back is if when something does bug me and I bring it up and I don't get any kind of satisfaction. That I can't let go. But any specific thing, pretty much, I can always let go, which is why I'm the dual of ISFJ. They can be mean. They have demonstrative F5, which means I know when Kimberly likes me and is happy with me and she's laughing at my jokes and stuff and feeling good about me. And I also know when she thinks I'm a fucking worthless sack of shit. And what I just keep trying to tell her is, look, it's fine for you to think I'm a worthless sack of shit right now. But don't forget that underneath it all, we're a team and we love each other. And as long as we can do that, we're fine. You can be mad at me. You can, call me names and shit. And then if I go, hey, that one hurt, then just at that point, work with me. Yeah. It makes it easy for both of us, as long as we both give a little bit. No, Matthew, you're right. But you remember when I made that video, it was, I think it's going to end unless she wakes up today having had some sort of epiphany and is suddenly willing to negotiate
Nobody
with me.
knows what you're talking about because you're not reading the...
Okay, Matthew said, struggling through the last little hurdle. Wait, wasn't it about to end yesterday? Lamau, sorry, I'll be supportive. What I said was, it would, unless she wakes up with some sort of epiphany and is willing to negotiate with me all of a sudden, which is exactly what happened after a little bit of a hiccup at first in the day. We did end up negotiating on the 4th. And then that was yesterday? Yeah, I guess so. And then this morning, we had another little fight. But instead of doing what we've always done, escalating, causing huge problems, fighting back and forth, blah, 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 we negotiated again. And we've done it again during the day, too. It's like magic. It's a miracle. Now she doesn't want to have babies. Oh, Kimberly doesn't want to have Jeebus's babies. Kimberly, do you no longer want to have Jeebus's babies?
I don't remember agreeing to that.
Yeah. Okay, so who am I writing a song for? I'm writing a song for Zandy about what? Oh, why Zandy should give Jeebus a chance? I think I might want to hook up Spacey before I hook up Jeebus, though. Yeah. Zandy, are you single? Single enough. She's single enough. It's fine.
Oh, single enough.
Look, you need somebody sensitive, Zandy, not your asshole boyfriend who dismisses what you say, okay? So here. Here's a song for you. Zandy was eating zucchini in Sacramento, but she realized she wanted a taste of candy instead. So she said, hey, boyfriend, though I like you, you're just not enough racy. And she came down to Los Angeles and visited Spacey. There. I've told the story in song form, therefore it's prophecy. Anything told in song form is prophecy. Right, Zandy, it's time for a new asshole boyfriend. Okay? And I've got Spacey written right here. All right? And I'll tell you what, I'm going to give him asshole lessons. I've gotten pretty good at it over the years. What type is most likely to be a crazy cat person? I'd say ISTJ. You might think ISFJ, but they're too socially conscious. They don't want to be perceived as such. Tom Jickelson is trying to troll again. I'm gonna share this fun troll with you, Kimberly. Kimberly, would you slice off MGTOWers' penises if you could?
Well, I really wouldn't, but I would like to see the negotiation between him and the woman that I would like to watch do it.
I think it's interesting that he spells your name Kimberlee. I wonder why he's doing that. I wonder if it's somebody you know.
Because he probably looked up my Facebook and was trying to check me out beforehand and saw that my Facebook is Kimberlee.
Let's see. Ron Solar says, good to know. I'll direct my frustration at him then. Ooh, Spacey, that's a good idea.
What?
He's going to direct his frustration at you.
Oh,
Zaylin,
cool.
I have you beat with cats.
Yeah, if anyone needs to let out any of their frustration, I'm a pretty good target.
All right. Jeebus says, I'm sorry, Spacey, that Xandy's already promised to marry him, so she's off the market apparently.
I don't
So
know.
I'm supposed to be having his babies, but he's marrying Zandy?
No, you're supposed to be having Jeebus's babies, but that's before he marries Andy, I
Unless Eric is joking, it sounds like she likes more abusive people.
think. Let's see here. Is Weird Al Yankovic my idol? No, I don't really like him very much. There's a lot of ENTPs that, or I think are ENTPs that make music that I don't like because it's too ENTP-ish. You know, it's like I try to move away from my ENTP-ishness in at least some of my stuff. And the better stuff is less NE and more NI. So I'm not really a huge fan of like ridiculousness for its own sake. Let's see. Shmanda says, "Eat a dick, then, Spacey." I don't know why Shmanda's telling you that, but
I said a no.
you must have said something bad.
I did a no.
I've been stalking her for a long time now. Okay. Jeremiah fixed once again. I can make no sense of your enigmatic mutterings. How is an ENTP and INTP friendship with you and Spacey? It's good. We're getting used to each other, you know. It's like as Spacey listens up, we'll have more joking times, I'm sure. Like he and I both like to riff on jokey things. Like when we went to the ATM and I said, "Oh, that was so nice," and he started joining in with his own character voice, and we just sort of joked around.
Yeah, we're all still pretty exhausted from our week of camp.
That's natural ENTP, INTP stuff, but you know, we have to get more comfortable with each other. We have to get more used to each other. Because really, I never really knew Spacey very well prior to him showing up this week, and I just talked to him in the room a few times, and he was here before once, but I never got a chance to really, you know, he's got a lot of depth to him that doesn't get revealed necessarily because he's an INTP, which means he's always
waiting in line.
He's always waiting in line. Right? Because the INTP, always waiting in line, quietly passing judgment. Well, yeah, I guess another person cut in front of me in line.
Well, when you got ENTPs in the room, you can't really get a word in edgewise.
All I'm gonna do is
all I wanna do is have some fun.
I'm not the only one.
I'm not the only one.
What's the next verse?
I don't know. It's a chorus, I think.
That is a good one. Jeebus is clearly ISTJ. It's obvious to anybody who's ever heard him say a word. It take you an hour to pick out a tube of toothpaste, INTP Spacey. If you went to the supermarket intent on getting yourself a tube of toothpaste, how long would it take you to choose which tube of toothpaste?
Longer than it would take you.
Yeah, it would probably. That's exactly the kind of thing where I can see like 50 different options, and I know like they all have like really subtly different.
And he'll read them all.
And I'll have to, you know.
Yeah.
But with something like toothpaste in particular, I've already decided that I might as well just go for the most simple freaking, baking soda and
whatever's on sale.
Because it works.
See, INTPs benefit from an ENTP to hurry them along. An ENTPs benefit from an INTP to slow them down, right? Just generally like, okay, hold on, Mr. Detective.
Are you getting what you bargained for, Spacey?
I don't know. I think I might have some enemies on the,
Me too.
on the
Don't feel
chat
bad.
already.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm a sociopath.
I try so hard to be a good guy.
I mean,
Me
listen,
too.
you two introverts. I have been called everything from Adolf Hitler to Mao Zedong.
YouTube
Right,
is
but
a
you know what? The shoe
harsh and
fits wear it.
unforgiving
Like
place.
we do not have. We've done nothing
I know,
wrong.
I'm just saying, just because a single bullet flies past you in battle, you happen to touch the battlefield for a second. There's no reason to freak out. I'm constantly undergoing fire.
And constantly freaking out.
I'm not freak. No, I don't freak out. I only freak out when it involves you, baby, because I care about you. And evolution. I also freak out about evolution.
You freak out about a lot of things.
Okay, but there are different kinds of freakouts. The freak out about you are authentic freakouts where I really care. I freak out when I'm freaking out at
authentic
I get
of freakouts.
when I'm freaking out at Lyanna Litzenberger for talking about the smell of my marijuana.
This just sounds very inauthentic.
Well, listen, if you just go along with me in general, we'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Just, try to find ways in which you go, Eric may be full of shit here, but this sounds sort of plausible, so I'll kind of agree with it. And then we're fine. If you're just constantly going like, let me find what I can critique, then we're not fine. Then you're just being my enemy. It's that simple.
Well, I want to know who really gets to define like doesn't it have to be equal?
Kimmy, it's more than doubly, quadruply, super equal.
According to who? Who is
According to any objective observer. I am not fucking shitting on you. I am not, dismissing you or saying you're a bad person or anything like that. I get crushed by criticism easily. It sucks, says Sheila W. I know that. I know you, Jay.
Oh, you whisker hairs on screen?
But yes, it's true.
Your beard.
ISFJs get crushed by criticism easily and they hate it and they don't like it. But the thing is, I'm not really ever criticizing her. I'm just saying, hey, let's agree that going forward we'll do this a little differently or whatever. I'm trying to be community man.
Yeah, trying to be man.
Is it just XSJs who are nurturing types, or
That's
just
called explaining.
yeah, it's just XSFJs who are? Oh no, there should be because there's nurture, infantile, victim, and aggressor or whatever. Those four. So there must be 4 of each one because there's only 4 in the 16 types. So I'm not sure which of the other ones are. You have to look that up. Okay, Sheila, I know you that's your position on the matter, is that you're an ISFP. I am not saying that your position is not valid. You may make whatever claims you want about your own type. I'm not trying to undermine your sense of self in any regard. And I'm also stating to you in no uncertain terms that it is my professional opinion that you are an ISFJ.
Eric.
What?
You?
Is that bad FE?
Yes.
Oh, bad FE. Sorry, Sheila. Don't mean to run afoul of your tool function.
Eric.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bad FE again. My bad, Sheila. My bad. I know you're the monster of FI. Again.
Eric!
Oh, my bad. Now, that's some good polar FI humor right there. Now, I'm talking about me having polar FI. Okay, well, that's what makes it polar FI humor. Jeez. Man, I thought that was good FE. Damn, I must suck at FE or something. Well, I mean, Kimberly's got better FE than I do, right? So she considers how important the thing is to the person I'm talking to. And so probably type is fairly important to Sheila, and I respect that. But she actually respects that. I just give lip service to respecting that. That's polar FE, and polar FI is. I understand the need to give lip service to respecting that because that's an FE thing, right? I need to show Sheila that I respect her because otherwise I'm failing on FE ground that's just not TI acceptable even. But that doesn't mean that I think I'm wrong. And I also have that TI thing going on where I go, well, yeah, but I still got to say my arguments. And then an FI person will say, yeah, but think about Sheila and her feelings. And that's what Kimberly is doing because she's got FI demonstrative. But I just think, well, I'm just making jokes. And I just don't even think about it. It doesn't cross my mind. I just think She was cool or whatever. Yeah. It's just a shortcoming of mine, I guess. Oh, says Angant here. Oh, did you do one of these too? I see any and you all over the place. I know Jeebus is probably an also very newish to MBTI. Well, newish or oldish, your type is your permanent destiny forever. Okay, it defines you, it limits you, it says what you can and cannot do, and you must obey it at all times. No, I haven't watched your Benjamin video, Sheila. It wouldn't be convincing to me, I'm sure, because it's based on a DSP model that's faulty. But that's fine. I'm not interested in arguing with you about it. I don't want to try to convince you you're an ISFJ or anything. I probably should have had better FE and not even gone there and just sort of let it sit there. But, I am, if nothing else, compulsively speaking what I actually think. So, kind of with, I'm not an ISFJ. Your mom is an ISFJ. Clever your mom joke. Sorry, I'll be brilliant elsewhere. No, your brilliance is welcome here, Matthew. And appreciated. Remember, though, the best version always includes not just your mom, but her face as well. So it should be your mom's face is whatever, For example, your mom's face is tickling my chode. Erica saw videos with the Muslim beard. My beard has been all varying lengths from not at all to very long. At no point did it change religions. It was never Muslim. Even when it was at its most Muslim looking, it was actually Amish. My face is your mom? That's interesting. Jeebus, you taken an Enneagram test? Jeebus, are you a 7? You look like a 7. I think you're avoiding things again. Rowan, did you have an opinion? Best video Rowan ever saw. That was his opinion. He gave it a thumbs up and left a comment and subscribed. I'm fairly certain I'm an INFJ. I often find other INFJ I relate to more than any other type. I don't know why I laughed at my face as your mom. Usually the ones that make no sense don't get me as much. Must be this Heineken. I've been drinking a lot of Heineken non-alcoholic beer myself lately. I shotgunned one yesterday for 4th of July. Talk about mistaking the symbol for the thing. Shotgunning a non-alcoholic beer really just doesn't make any sense at all. Pukoki's an ISFP. I see. Any more unwarranted claims you'd like to make? How about horses often wear hats? Or when left alone, clouds turn into leprechauns. Who wants to make some unsubstantiated claims? Just some random shit. Pukoki's an ISFP. I have 7 brothers, 7 sisters, and 7 uncles and 7 aunts.
Oh, Barack Obama is an INTJ.
Instead of heating the glass, could we just torch Eric's lungs? But Jeremiah, that would hurt. So I'm going to say no on that one. I'm going to pack a bowl for Santiago. Santiago looks like he needs a bowl. Oh, sí, senor. I need a bowl de marijuana. Okay, Santiago, hush. Okay, I'll be quiet, senor. All right, Santiago, here you go.
Thank you, senor.
You're welcome, Santiago. And tell Maria, your friend here, that I will pack her one momentarily. Oh, no, yeah, I hear him. I hear what he's saying. Okay, she heard me. Good. All right. Let's see. Do you need this, Santiago? There you go. Sheila, I thought you were graceful and lovely. I'm terrible at typing people, so I didn't come away with an opinion on your type, other than you're definitely an introverted feeler. Well, I will throw out there as sort of a general point of concession, to the extent that I am unable to recognize something, it is usually FI. But, I mean, it's just much any, she's not any polar. There's no such thing as jumpers, yada, yada, yada. What is Jeebus's type? Everyone's asking me, Dewick, what is Jesus' type? Well,
ISTJ.
no. I think Jeebus is probably an NTP, either E or I. Which one? I don't know. I'm not in charge of knowing those things. All I've engaged with him regarding is a live stream, like in this capacity. I've never talked to the gentleman. I never said, hello, Jeebus. Good to see you today. Let's discuss typology. No, so I'm just basing it on his chats instead. And what that tells me is NTP. How reliable is that? Well, it's more reliable than your mom's face, but less reliable than your mom's anus, which is extremely reliable. Okay? Now, Jeebus, if you agree that your mom's anus is more reliable than your mom's face, then you're probably ENTP. And if you think your mom's face is more reliable than your mom's anus, then you're probably INTP. Yes.
You're being disgusting.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Winston's mom says, does anyone remember Romper Room? I love when host Eric says our names. Well, Rowan Morgan, I'm going to take Winston's mom's advice and say your names more frequently. Jeebus could be an ENFP. Yeah, he could, like Matthew Allister. Matthew Allister is one of those tricky kind of ENFPs who's got a little bit of ENTP dark humor to him. You know, like he's not afraid to joke about genocide and his great enthusiasm for it. And you're never really sure if he's kidding. Zing is right. I zinged his ass. I zanged him. I zinged him. I zunged him. What I didn't do is zandy him because that would make him too damn happy.
He's probably tried to zandy her.
Oh, I'm sure he tried to zandy. Hey, Matthew, you ever tried to zandy? Oh, yeah. I tried to zandy her good. But she was like, no, you can't zandy me. Stop trying to zandy me. I wonder if I was trying to jeopardize Eric's therapy by hitting on Becky. No, I think that was a good idea. You had a good chance there, turned out. You probably just got a little ham-fisted with it. Came on a little too strong. You should have just been like, hey, Becky, what up? I'll be back later. I'm busy. Just do it like 5 times and you got your chick in bed. Would expose something if she responded favorably to me. Yeah, well, it would have exposed your genitals to her, and you would have inserted them therein. What happened to me, Hambo? That's a good question. We all have our edgy phase. I know. I'm not trying to damn her at all. As if, Matthew. My therapy was great. Becky did a great job. I have no complaints about that. But I also never thought I needed it once I got the gist of it beyond it facilitated things. I always thought, okay, once I understand this thing, I can execute it myself to the extent that there's things to execute. But, you know, I think you probably wouldn't have hated being in Shane's position for the week. And except the difference would have been probably unlike Shane, you would have still come to hang out with us some after Becky left and still go back there and stuff, you know. Where is the Garden of Eden? How do I get Eric yelled at?
Go to his dad's house.
I think I don't know if he means like Eric yelled at. Like, I don't just yelled at, I'm Eric yelled at. Or if he means get me yelled at by somebody else. I'm not sure.
Oh.
FI humor is more savage than FE humor, in my opinion. Well, Kimberly, I left you a comment about the TIFF yesterday. I did this in behalf of my rather exhausted husband. Oh, Winston's mom, what was your comment to Kimberly? What did it say? Did we have a TIFF yesterday? I guess we probably did. Was that yesterday?
We have one every day.
Oh, not one that we have left unresolved anyway. I have a ham-bone chorus of the ham-bone song we have to work on tomorrow. Okay, good. My mom is savage. She's savage as fuck. Did Jeebus ask, did Becky at least wash the sheets before she left?
No.
No. At Abraham.
He handed them to me.
Yeah, at Abraham's prompting, she took them off the bed. My ESFJ has her savage humor moments, so I wouldn't underestimate. They could surprise you. I have a new phone without your number. I'll Facebook you. Without my number? Then here, I'll write it down here and you put it in your phone. It's 909-720-2261. That's 909-720-2261. Now, when you send me a text, you say, this is Matthew, so I know. Oops, there's a 6 before the 1. 909-720-2261. It'll be the best phone call you ever make. It's weird to find a younger person with your type who's very similar to you. You have this desire to assist them in some way. Well, what was interesting is I had this desire to see myself from the outside, kind of mentally, because her mental processes are so similar to mine. But I wish it had been more like that. I wish I had more of a desire to assist her. I had more of a desire to take advantage of her assisting me, frankly. And no, I do not enjoy receiving dick pics, Matthew. So
was that a question for me, Matthew?
That was Jeeba saying Eric enjoys receiving dick pics.
Oh.
No, my phone number is not put out there for anybody to call me. It is there in case you want to call Spacey. I'm going to be his wingman. He probably doesn't want to give his phone number out to everybody.
I mean, sure, I don't care.
All right, we could do that too.
Yeah, I'd rather have them have his number than your number.
Well, look, the thing is,
I mean, it's already public.
I know. He makes sure it's public.
Yeah.
Right. So anybody wants to contact you or Spacey or
me, I don't need me contacting me or showing up at my house.
I know. So if they do want to contact you, what do they have to do right now in the status quo?
You don't answer your phone.
So does that make it more likely for them to undesirably on your part contact you?
I don't know.
No, it makes it less likely.
You're right.
Thank you, darling. Not to dwell on the Becky thing, but I think that the Shane guy, or maybe Sean, you're talking about a comment or something, was on something with the therapist friendship thing because it's like she's a professional, but no, it's not. It's nothing on absolutely nothing. To the extent that the therapy was helpful, it was because it was true and good and right. And to the extent that it wasn't helpful, it's because there was something wrong with what was being said. To the extent that Becky went off the reservation, that's just her separate issue. It had nothing to do with anything else. It's like, absolutely not that I'm not off from the start. There was nothing off about it at all. Well, I mean, what I told her is I would make it worth her while, and I have, and I continue to. I have blown up her ethical clusterfuck that she put on her own head, and I'm prepared to help her clean it up. That's, or at least as much as what you provided us. So, the fact that Becky is now experiencing, sadly, the consequences of her own lack of humility as an ENTP is exactly what she needed right now. It wasn't anything I anticipated, it wasn't anything I made happen, it wasn't a lesson I was trying to teach her or anything. The natural consequence, right? The slabs put us on path to one another so that she would experience this. and see the alternative to being what she's being. You don't have to be an unethical, unprincipled douchebag to be an ENTP. And so, it doesn't. I don't even have to do anything else. I've already done my job. I've already helped her tremendously. I am not dismissing her. I am not attacking her. I'm not slut shaming her. I'm not whatever everybody else is doing. I'm saying you made a huge mistake here, but it's not going to live with you for the rest of your life. And if you work with me and are decent and talk to me as a human being and a friend, I will gladly help this become forgotten in fairly short order. We can make videos together and talk about things or whatever and explore the subject if you want to and get it over with, get it out of the way, spin it fairly but positively, and then let it blow over and be forgotten in not that long. She's provided a lot of useful terminology for me. I mean, well, what I said was that I would make it worthwhile in a number of possible ways. I'd make videos with her for her channel. I talked about lots of different things I could do to provide equivalent services for her. So there's no reason to think there's anything wrong with the relationship. I don't need to have that relationship defined as a status. She was my therapist when she was my therapist, and she was my friend the rest of the time. I don't view her as not a friend anymore. I view her as a friend in crisis. But, like a drug addict, I can't help you if you don't want to quit drugs. I can't help you if you don't want to quit lying to yourself and me. That's it. She'll figure it out. I have faith in her. She'll come around. She'll talk to me. She'll realize that I'm right, and she'll grow from it. How do you love? I mean, how do I love, or how does one love? I mean, I love by working on behalf of the other person to some extent or another, Oh, it's for question for Spacey, I see. How do you love? Spacey, that's the question.
What?
How do you love?
How do you love? That's not a question I can answer.
It's fairly open-ended. It could mean she wants you to self-evaluate. Like, I love poorly, I love well.
I mean, can they further clarify that question?
It's Susie. Sheila loves by trusting. Sheila W says, I love by trusting.
I think me too.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest part of it. That's pretty good one, Sheila.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think. See, I don't tend to think of it that way. I think that trust is implicit and underlying everything that could possibly be called love. I trust people that I don't love all the time. I trust people that I do love all the time. I give people I love a lot more rope as far as that goes. Like, okay, well, it didn't work last time.
You're too trusting.
Well, I think that's a fair critique. But the thing is, I am irrationally trusting to some extent. I kept thinking to myself, over and over again, that I'm going to continue assuming that one of these days I'm going to receive the response I keep asking for and the sort of, approach I keep asking for. And I did. I saw progress very slowly, but it was good enough, So I guess another way to answer that question would be, I love by talking. I love by telling you I love you. I love by telling you you're beautiful. I love by fighting your talking battles for you. I love by telling our story in ways that are positive to both of us. I love by things like that. A lot of verbal shit. Now, that's not necessarily a natural compatibility between me and Kim, because her love language is definitely nonverbal and mine is definitely verbal. But that just requires us both to want to speak some in the other's language. And as long as we both want to do that some of the time, we won't have fights or conflicts or anything like that. Introverted thinker. If things don't work out, I have a son. Okay. No, Jeeves, I'm not even going to read that out loud. I'm not reading that out loud at all. Do you consider who you love? Does it almost report on your relationship? Well, I thought about in general, too.
Please do not pick your whisker on screen.
It's like, I remember from previous relationships doing kind of the same thing. I also would say in previous relationships, maybe my role was more
It's okay, Kim.
more to cooperate in FE. Like in my last relationship, one of my roles was to cooperate in Candace's Facebook framing campaign, in which she was trying to establish to everybody that we were a perfect family, and I had to participate in these photo shoots and various other FE things that I thought were stupid, but I was willing to do the same thing I do now, which is I was saying, okay, well, I'm happy to make this sacrifice to show that I'm a team player and blah blah blah. Blah. Jeebus, listen, you're 39 poles short of a deck. Okay, so just be nice. There's no reason to talk about pole smoking in that capacity. We're not talking about C.S. Joseph here. Granted, C.S. Polesmith is a world record pole smoker of great renown, whose enthusiasm for the smoking of poles made it necessary and appropriate to make jokes about his pole smoking ways. But Becky is somebody in distress, seeking and in need of redemption, which I hope to help her attain. So I am not interested in discussing any similarity between C.S. Joseph, a legitimate pole smoker of much pole smokage, whose pole smoking ways have pole smoked all of the poles that could be smoked in pole smoking town. I would like that not to be compared with Becky, who is, I'm almost 100% sure, first of all, smoked only one pole while she was here. I'm quite confident she wasn't smoking any poles but chains. And regardless, even if she did smoke it multiple times, there's nothing wrong with that inherently. It's just, yeah. One more thing on that. If Becky had acted how she acted in you and had never been your therapist, would you have been just as disturbed by it if she was just some TWFP person who didn't know much? If she was just some TWFP person who would talk to Kimberly and I a lot, regardless of it being an official therapy thing, but had been preaching at us some things that then that person in person did not display the exact opposite of. In other words, if you're going to be flagrant in your hypocrisy, then you better talk to me about that directly, because it doesn't matter whether she's my therapist or my friend or whatever. If I spend all this time right now, Matthew, talking to you about, say, how important it is to make sure anytime you're a guest in someone's house that you bring them at least 6 ounces of cheese as a house gift. And if you don't do that, you're extremely rude. And you've gone over this a bunch of shit tons of times. Then you show up at my house and you brought only 3 ounces of cheese. I say, hey, what about the 6 ounce rule? And you're like, well, I've been sitting there listening to you, assuming, yeah, you take these things to heart. You're serious about this. And it turns out you were just blowing smoke on my ass the whole time. It doesn't matter if you're my therapist or not, right? It makes me go, hold on, are you a smoke blower? You know? Manipulation of feeling. Actually, I'm joking. No, I'm not. I'm manipulating your feelings about whether I'm joking. How does Spacey's SI manifest? Cass Marshall wants to know. She's checking to see if you meet her SI criterion for a man love friend.
Well, why don't you explain how my SI manifests first? And I want to see
Okay.
if I agree with it.
So, Cass, listen. When Spacey's with you and you're sitting next to each other, he feels something in his body.
I'll definitely be hypersensitive to the fact that we're touching.
Yeah, hypersensitive. It'll send electrical shocks at both your body and his.
Or at least just mine.
Yours too, for sure. So much so that you'll both die of electrocution. So the unfortunate end, but it's kind of like praying mantis, but they both eat each other at the end. I'm not really thinking of it in terms of who's right, just what could be happening underneath, because her behavior seemed to be like trying to prove something behavior, not like kind of missing etiquette or bad morals. I think she was trying to push the boundaries. She's pushing the limits, as the ENTPs always do. I want to find out if there are any limits here. Have I just been set free entirely? The thing is, that's how I see it, as pushing the limits until somebody says no. And it's also a dark playground thing. During that time, she was the only way she could keep out of her head what was going on back home, or not going on back home, or that whole narrative line, was to immerse herself as fully as she could in the dark playground, where she's fixated on what she's tweaking out on. And as long as she keeps that fully in her attention, she doesn't have to think about the darkness. And so when I said, okay, dark playground notwithstanding here, we got to bring you back to reality, that didn't just bring her back to reality about the thing I was trying to talk to her about. It would bring her back to reality about the whole fucking sordid business. And so she'd freak out, right? In the end, if once she reflects upon it in full and realizes she can't win this narrative, that she may need to seek help in it or whatever, or work together with me to rewrite it or something,
well,
then she'll have learned something.
Can we work with Cass on this then, if she wants to? And can she give me an experience and see if I relate to it?
Well, yeah, Cass says she suspects she's an IHP, so I'm not sure how that would work. I was going to compare it to my own experience with SI and see if it was consistent.
I guess for me, there's at least I could throw out at the moment that there's this huge nostalgia and reaching back to past events that can kind of swamp your mental landscape at times. A lot of it, for me, it tends to be negative things that happen that I dwell on, or at least they're colored in negative ways by my psyche. I don't know, but it's like this primordial soup of dwelling and perusing. I don't know.
A primordial soup of dwelling and perusing. Interesting. Listen, I wanted to see this, to answer this, because she had to know Eric would harshly judge her for it, but she didn't want to hide it. I don't think she did know that I would harshly judge her for it, and I didn't know I would harshly judge her for it. I actually I knew that something was going on there. I didn't know the timetable of when she was going to tell her boyfriend or not or whatever. I didn't put a lot of thought into it, but my initial response to her was like, I'm sure there's some, some way to explain this that's going to make it make sense. I'm sure if you have all the right words, it'll work out. But she didn't have all the right words. There aren't any all the right words for this one. It's a clear, red, bright line. And at the end of the day, it took me a while to realize I wasn't okay with it. But even so, I wasn't trying to bust chops about that. I was just sort of keeping that to myself.
How is it that by the time I left to come here, I was already aware that, number one, she would most certainly cheat on her boyfriend. Number two, she wasn't going to tell him. And number three, I definitely, was going to judge her for it.
All right. Well, I mean, the thing is, I tend to be very much late in the loop here on those sort of things from the raw room. So I probably learned most of those details later than you. But most of all, I wasn't sure on the timetable when she was telling her boyfriend until I picked her from the airport, and I confirmed on the way home that she came here knowing she was going to cheat and didn't tell him. And I sort of had a sense that I had known that before, but it was sort of pending in my head as to what she was going to do or something. I don't know. The point is, I hadn't given it a lot of attention. So might it make sense that she would believe I wouldn't react strongly to it? Yeah, I believe that. She's FI polar too. Like I said, I'm not trying to damn the woman. Cass Marshall says, I totally relate to that. I dwell on negative past events, especially in instances which I socially messed up or embarrassed myself. Ooh, the old SIFE failure loop. That's a nasty one. Where you think back about how you said something embarrassing in a social situation and you go,
yeah, that's the worst.
That's the worst.
That's the SI nasty loop.
Yeah, SIFE nasty loop is awful.
No, SITI can do the same shit.
Experience. My point is, I bet SIFE loops of misery are much fewer and less dramatic than mine. As an ENTP, I've made a lot more social mistakes, and I have a lot more memories to cringe about. But I have become much more forgiving of myself than I used to be. I let myself escape some shit.
Yo, tell Winston's mom I'm sending that woman a message that she told me to Google. But like, what should I say? Like, who's my reference here?
Zandy, that is absolutely not rule number one. If you come to Eric's summer camp, don't engage in sexual behavior unless you're welcome to engage in sexual behavior in my house, as certainly Susie and Abraham did downstairs. And it wasn't the fact that there was sex going on in my house that was ever a problem. I did have a problem with her lack of character that she was showing there, but that would never have blown up into any sort of an issue. Except that, I mean, by the time it did, she was just like, okay, Becky, come on now.
I was shocked. Okay, thanks.
Tell her my name and ask who is this? Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about. I won't worry about it. Bill Burr talks about thinking about past experiences in the shower and having to scream to drown them out. Yeah, I used to be like, shame and anxiety, shame and anxiety, shame and anxiety. Yeah. The problem with what Becky did was not that she had sex at my house at all, nor even that she cheated on her boyfriend at my house, although that would have made me lose respect for her for sure. The problem was that she was incredibly rude to everybody, and I kept getting this problem put on my plate. Kimberly kept telling me, because Kimberly was correctly reading everyone's social cues, that people are getting annoyed by this. Now, Kimberly can't tolerate this. She's bringing her hands because as hostess, she's failing in her own mind. And so then what do I got to do? I got to at some point do something about it because it's annoying me. Spacey, Yvette and I bonded on Reddit. She attended law school and interned at Second City. Oh, well, tell Yvette I said hi.
She sounds like a very smart lady from what I see.
Yeah, tell Yvette I said hi. Tell her that I think her name has too many consonants in it. Okay? I'll tell her I'd like her to remove at least one of the consonants.
Yeah, I tend to be pretty phobic, Cass, but I'm not exactly sure if that's hugely a third slot SI thing or if it's something else.
Does your slot SI make you more phobic than most, Spacey? I'm not sure if this is related to type or it's just me. It's not their third slot SI, I don't think. It's just the fact that they're double deliberators. They got TI1 and they got their 8 slot FI active as well in their deliberation calculi. Their third slot knowers. And then their tool function is entirely metaphysical as expert intuition. So it makes them super internal because even though their externalizing function can be done inside just fine. Not like SE, right? I can't externalize SE inside of myself. Not really. I can do that in yeah. I think the elephant in the room is Becky pooped on Eric's sidewalk. That's the real issue here. I mean, I don't even think there is any issue here. I just move them right along. Shit happens. Whatever. I'm not trying to bust anyone's chops. I will work in my hard so long and have blisters on my hands and not know it until later that night. Well, that's getting shit done the old-fashioned way. A little hand blister, a little elbow grease. How many type appointments do you have lined up, Eric? At the moment, 0. Thank you for asking. Spacey's going to be my secretary when he gets around to feeling like it here. He already did some of my emails before, and he's checking. He's going to check one of these days here, maybe tonight. He's going to check, see if anybody's emailed me to ask me to type them. Then maybe I'll be able to answer Spanner's question with the answer 1.
All right.
How many type appointments do you have lined up, Eric? The answer is currently 0. But with Spacey's help and a little luck, maybe by the end of the night it'll be 1.
I haven't seen anything for now, but I guess there's one guy who was still wanting to talk about something in one of those email chains that we moved to Red or whatever. So I'll look at that later.
Well, look, if you right now are thinking, hey, I want to get a typing by Eric, I want to get it soon, and I want to communicate with Spacey by email, well, here's your chance to do all those things in one fell swoop.
Remember, I'm super bored, and I'd love to field your emails.
I don't have really much work for him because I don't get that many emails.
Right.
So, yeah. that's that. Okay, so I think I'm about ready to end this live stream. We're about
Why?
ready.
Because the rest of the comments aren't anything that's interesting to you.
No, because I'm nearing 2 hours,
Oh.
which is my usual stopping spot.
Oh, well, Sheila had something to say, and I wanted to see what she had to say.
Sheila says, I will work in my yard so long and have blisters on my hands and not know it until later that night.
Oh.
And Mrs. Mom says, okay, that sounds like what? Eric, I think. SP. I mean, it's hard to say. It's hard to say from those being an ISFP because her NE is too good. It's not polar, and it's just like I don't know. That's my position on it. But I bet you would love a free typing, Jeebus. I bet you would. I would love to give you a free typing. I would, but you know, only conditionally with the would there. Notice that I use the past tense of will rather than the present tense of will. If you are going to be ending this soon. Bye, Spacey, says Cass Marshall. Nice talking to you. Bye as well, Eric. Bye, Cass Marshall.
Bye.
Thanks for your polite goodbyes. I appreciate them. SI blind? Who's SI blind? You know what being actually blind is? It's a form of SI blindness. Competitive. Not my house. Not most of my house. Oh, salutations. My dream is for you to type me and my hubby one day. Okay, awkward INFP. Listen, you've already built up a lot of metaphysical equity with all of your I don't think it's awkward at all. I think it's perfectly graceful, positive FE directed at me, which is much appreciated. So, who knows what happens? Who knows? The slabs move in mysterious ways.
Special.
You never know.
Never know.
Okay, so Kimberly, am I okay to leave the live stream now?
Yes, as long as Sheila has said all that she needs to say.
Yeah. Okay, so there you go. You got Kimmy advocating for your right to speak, Sheila. Not that I was trying to oppress it at all, but Okay. Maybe Shamanda, you're right. Maybe I should offer temporary half-price sale for a couple of days. That's not a bad idea.
That is not a bad idea.
I could potentially do that. Maybe a video forthcoming will announce it. We shall see. If your FI needs to be heard, then my needing to be heard necessarily mustn't have to be FI. And since my needing to be heard is not FI, then needing to be heard is not an indication of FI. The end.